Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, we're going to talk about the only thing really killing your gains, and that's influencers. Before I get into this topic, if you need coaching, check out the link below. Coaching is what I do for a living. I would love to work with you. So I'm a little bit sick, so hang in there with me, but I wanted to make a video on this topic because I received this message last night, and there's so many layers to this message. I want to dive in and read this message, and then we can comb through things just a little bit. So Gary messaged me last night on Instagram DM and said the following. Hey, Steve, I hope all is well with you and yours. I've been following you for some time now and love what you teach. I've been doing full body 3 to 4 times a week, 18 sets per workout, and about 8 to 10 reps per body part a week. I think he means per set. Extremely high volume that I've been deploying for a little over a year now. It's kind of interesting that this is considered high volume because this is the normal or moderate volume place that I start everyone from, but we'll comb through that in just a little bit. However, my results have been absolutely staggering. So he's increased his volume compared to what he's done, and he says his results have been absolutely staggering. I'm blowing up week after week. My question is, am I crazy for wanting to change my routine? Here's where the doubt sets in, the influencer-related doubt. I've been getting the results I want, stressed, but there's so much controversy online that it has me second guessing. This is where we're going to dive into all the influencer nonsense. So I said, don't fall for the nonsense. It's not reality. You found the magic. I teach the path of freedom, not lies. Gary responds, thanks, Steve. This is exactly why I follow your content and guidance. So I asked a follow-up question. What are you doubting? I would suggest unfollowing anyone that preaches a limited path. Gary said, maybe I'm doing too much volume. The only thing I don't like about my training is the amount of time I spend in the gym, which is about 2 hours on average. But my God, I've blown up. Now, 18 sets, if you're spending about 2 hours on average, that's a little bit long. And there could be reasons for that. It could be a packed gym. It could be kind of messing around in between sets. But I have a lot of clients on 18 hard sets per day. Full body tends to extend things a little bit, but that's a choice that he made to do full body. But generally, this should be taking you about 75 to 80 minutes, but that's a topic for another story. Anyway, I said, not at all. Adjust volume based on what's happening in the gym. That's the magic. These guys act like minimalism is the standard and like the body is fragile. The opposite is true. So the title of this video is that influencers are the only real thing killing your gains. And I would say, in general, other than anything you're doing that you shouldn't be doing, like not bulking or not using progressive overload, outside of that world, influencers are pretty much the main culprit, the people that are killing all gains. One of the things that angers me is confusion. When an influencer says something that wastes your time. Now, the problem with these influencers is that they will latch on to something, a concept, low volume, you shouldn't squat, whatever it is, whatever's going on. A couple of years back, we were obsessed with frequency. Now the latest trend is that we're so fragile, you have to do a minimal amount of volume. I've even seen some influencers be so brash as to say that, in the past, before steroids, that minimalism or minimal sets per body part was the norm, and that's absolutely not true. Now, I'm certainly not here to push high volume. I push a very moderate volume starting point. But the problem is that these influencers are confusing you. And I highly encourage you to unfollow anyone that is pushing a narrow path. We need to be reasonable in our programming. When I give people 18 hard sets per workout as a starting point, it's not magic. It's simply that, a starting point. And based on how things are going in the gym, we dial things down a little bit. We dial things up a little bit. We might find that 3 sets of deadlifts is too much, so we move it to 2. We might find that pendlay rows, we want to do 4 sets instead of 3. What I have always taught on this channel is evolving training based on needs. And people often ask me what that means, and this is a perfect example. These influencers will get on their little, social media platforms and proclaim something is the, holy grail of training, and it scares the living piss out of everyone. And then all of a sudden they run from what's working, or they start to doubt what is working. And this is the biggest crime right now in modern fitness, the doubt and confusion. What I teach on this channel is freedom. I've spent my entire life studying programming from the last 70 years. And what I try to give people is a starting point that is reasonable. We talk about reasonable a lot on this channel. What I am all about is opening doors or creating freedom, not creating confusion, not creating doubt. And I want you guys to remember this, because anytime you run into an influencer that teaches a narrow path or a granular path or a hyper-specific method to building muscle, they are full of shit. They are part of fear culture. They are part of fragile culture. They're embedded in some ridiculous dogma. And I want you to remember this. It's a red flag, and it is a lie. Anyone that teaches this narrow little granular path that there's only one way, there's a specific method, is simply lying to you, because muscle building is not like that. You simply need to look at training over the last 70 years to realize that there's a wide variety of things that work, and this shouldn't be confusing. What it should tell you is that you can go into the gym with a reasonable starting point, like what we teach here on the Massive Iron channel. And based on what is happening in the gym, you evolve your training based on needs and preferences and injuries, etc. This is the only magic path there is. If you look at the workouts of advanced lifters, they all train a little bit differently. Why? Because over the years, they have evolved things based on needs and preferences. You might like dumbbell rows over pendlay rows. You might like pendulum squats over Smith squats. It doesn't really matter as long as the split is reasonable, the exercise selection is reasonable, you're doing some sort of a reasonable bulk, and you have progressive overload and hard training in the mix. This culture of fear, this culture of fragility is putting you in bondage. It's teaching you that there's only one way, and it is a huge lie. You're basically handcuffed to their system. You walk around in doubt, and this is the biggest crime in modern bodybuilding. The truth is that there is freedom in training. It doesn't have to be restrictive. And the body is not that fragile. This is a huge and tremendous joke. Like somehow naturals are super fragile. If anything, naturals should be training harder than their steroid counterparts. And people ask me, why do you say that? Because they have an advantage you don't. You should be training hard. You should train as hard as you can stand. You should train as hard as you can sustainably keep up. Now, I'm not telling you to do something ridiculous in the gym. I'm all about sustainable training. We don't make radical or just unreasonable jumps in our training. But we need to be focused on hard training. We need to set aside this modern trend towards minimalism. The body is fragile. These things are red flags, they're lies, and they are not the truth. So guys, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Have a good day.